Majority who oppose trans rights and Black Lives Matter movement have warped sense of reality, according to science. Or maybe it's just according to your stupid interpretation of a study that you looked at that doesn't really mean anything. Hello, welcome to my channel. I am the Anti-Woke Warrior. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Watch the video to the very end. If you would, please, that does help the algorithm promote my video more. So we have this article here by Pink News. Now, my guess is they found some sort of study that marginally supports their notion, the notions of their readers who think that, oh yeah, people who are against Black Lives Matter, people who are against trans rights are evil. I'm guessing that most people who read Pink News feel that way. I'm just tossing that out there as the reality that this publication is living in. The majority of people who oppose trans rights and Black Lives Matter movement have an incorrect perception of reality, a study has shown. So it's a study. It's not even science. It's just a study. It's a poll that you took. It's, in fact, a poll that they took. The research conducted by the Policy Institute at King's College London and Ipsos Mori and titled "The Fault Lines in the UK's Culture Wars." You can click here to view the study. It's right here. This is it. It's not that impressive. They just ask questions like, hey, do you like people who disagree with you? No. Did you know that these people need more rights? No, they have enough rights. Well, they need more rights because of X, Y, and Z. Oh, I didn't know that they were suffering from those problems, but we'll talk about all that. Don't worry. They studied the viewpoints of participants on each side of 6 high-profile issues. The 6 issues which were presented by researchers as prominent current debates include transgender rights and Black Lives Matter movement, alongside Brexit, party politics, the British Empire, and COVID-19. The study looked at 3 elements of culture war issues: how strongly people identified with a side, in a culture war debate, the social distance between one side and the other side, and whether group identity affects perceptions of measurable realities. This is where I get they're pulling this. Oh, look, science shows it. It might not be that it's measuring perceptions of measurable realities. It might be that the side that claims to understand what you're understanding in this doesn't actually understand what's happening. While more liberal or left-leaning participants were more likely to say they would struggle to be friends with those who take the opposing point of view, the traditional or right-leaning respondents were shown to have a warped sense of reality. No, they're not, actually. In fact, the majority of those who oppose Black Lives Matter movement and those who think trans rights have gone too far disagreed with factual realities. No, actually, they don't. This is where you're getting tripped up. You don't know what the factual reality is. Of all respondents, 31% said they believe trans rights have not gone too far enough in the UK. A further 31% said trans rights have gone as far as they should, and 17% said they have gone too far. But those who oppose trans rights did not have a basic grasp of facts. Among those who thought trans rights had gone too far, just 67% were unable to correctly identify that trans people were twice as likely to be the victim of crime compared to the UK population as a whole, while 79% of those who supported expanding trans rights were able to understand that this was the case. Okay. Trans people are twice as likely to be the victims of crime. All right. I looked into this. There is an article that does clearly claim that trans people are twice as likely to be victims of crime in the United Kingdom and is based on crime reporting statistics. Am I going to quibble those reported statistics? Well, I could, but I don't do that when I'm looking at the FBI saying, hey, look, black people commit more crime, therefore they get arrested more often. Don't know what to tell you. So I won't play that game. I could do that. It's not important, though. I don't need to play that game because I know that in Europe or in England, hate speech is a crime. So if I say, trans people or whatever epithet, that's a crime, and I could be arrested for that. If I walk up to a trans person and say, hey, I think you're this and that and the other because you're trans, yeah, that's a crime. In the United States, that's not a crime. It's called talking. It's called having an opinion. You're allowed to have that. So how they identify a crime in the United Kingdom is just stupid. And furthermore, the United Kingdom is like 6% Muslim. 6%, that's more than Wales, which is one of the regions of the United Kingdom, and Northern Ireland, which is another region of the United Kingdom. And I'm not up on the Quran. I haven't read the Hadith, It's so maybe I'm talking out my behind here, but the last time I checked, the Muslim people aren't so supportive of the trans people. In fact, they're kind of anti the trans people, last time I checked. Maybe that's just me. But you got a country where there's millions of people who believe in ideology that says, hey, those people who do this thing are not human and you can just mistreat them as much as you want to. Could be a factor. I don't know. Maybe it's a factor there. And maybe it's because, hey, these people who are this way, this trans way, are more sensitive to these things. And so they are more prone to thinking that things are a crime that are actually not, or they are putting themselves into positions where they are taken advantage of criminally. It could be those factors. Those certainly are possibilities where they're putting themselves in a place where they are the victims of crime. All right, let's go move on down here to the next point. Similarly, almost 2/3 of those who oppose Black Lives Matter movement did not believe the proven fact, we got it right here, Black African, Caribbean, or Black British employees earned around 9% less than white British employees. The shock, the horror. And 39% said they thought Black and white employees earn the same amount. They do. They do earn the same amount because of this right here. What is this? This is the Racial Relations Act of 1976. The Racial Relations Act of 1976 was established by the Parliament of the United Kingdom to prevent discrimination on the grounds of race. The scope of the legislation included discrimination on the grounds of race, color, nationality, ethnicity, and national origin in the fields of employment. Oh, but yet they earn less money. They're paid less because, racism. The racism is coming for the blacks. Perhaps it is that black people are less educated on average than white people. Black people are less ambitious than white people. Black people are more prone to take jobs which pay less than white people do. I mean, it's illegal to pay them a different amount. Just because they're earning a different amount doesn't mean that there's racism. Furthermore, Black Lives Matter. It's talking about the life of the black person mattering, not the employment of the black person mattering, okay? If I had a 9% decrease in my pay, I would survive. I'm not going to be on the streets. I would still have a roof over my head. Even if that was a 9% reduction in my pay and my wife's pay, we would not be homeless. We would still have 2 cars. We would still have, our situation handled. All right, 9% is not the end of the world. Now, I understand if you're barely making it and you're making 9% less, yeah, you could end up on the streets. I get it. But this is the perception of the left is this is all done to these people. They're not doing it to themselves. They're not, it's not a part of their culture. It's not a part of this. It's white people doing it to them. It's straight people doing it to them. It's non-trans people doing it to trans people. It's not true, though. The United States is just as bad, if not worse. While participants on the traditional right-leaning side of the political spectrum mostly opposed the Black Lives Matter movement and disagreed with expanding rights for trans people, they did strongly believe that we should be proud of the British Empire, which was responsible for many anti-LGBT plus laws around the world that are still in effect today. Of Conservative Party voters, 67% said the British Empire was something to be proud of, compared to the 19% of the Labour voters. Well, there's your problem right there. These people have this warped sense of reality where, there was this person who was not of the norm. They weren't like a cis white male, and something bad happened to them. Is she how racist and prejudiced this country is? But the reality is bad things happen to all different types of people. Everybody has bad things happen to them. Doesn't matter your race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, whatever. None of that stuff matters. Bad things are going to happen to you. That's just life. People are jerks often, way too often. I don't know why they insist on being mean to each other, but they do. So that's why you're in this predicament. This is just a BS argument that somebody's trying, Lily Wakefield needs to fill her quota. So she put out this article for that week so she can get paid, but it's junk, it's bunk. The survey that they put out, it asked like 10,000 people. That might be statistically significant, but since England is like 55 million people, I'm going to go with no. Yeah, they asked across the internet, so it got the whole country, the UK in general. But still, it's like 10,000 people is not enough to really kind of say where people lie on this. And the fact of the matter is you don't understand the truth. Laws exist to protect these people already. Everything is done. What more are you going to do? Demand that female to or male to female transition people participate in sports, whether they want to or not? Because that's really a big issue. People want to sweep it under the rug like it's no big deal. But men who are adult men who transition to female should not be allowed to compete against women in sports. And you could point out, oh, look, this one trans athlete, she used to be a man and she only placed 3rd or 4th in her competition. Right. You have to look at it like this. If a trans athlete, male to female, is placing 4th in their competitive sport, you have to ask, when that person was a man, what placement were they in their sport competing against men? Were they 40th? They went from 40th to 4th. That's a huge increase. Sure, they didn't win. They're not going to win all the time necessarily. There are some very talented female athletes out there. But that's a huge increase. If they went from 40th to 4th, that's massive improvement. Just because they claim they're this other person. As far as reason tells us, it's not true. Maybe it has happened a few times, but nowhere near as much as it appears to be happening. So anyway, that's all I got for this time. Thank you so much for watching my video. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I will see you in the next one.